nga xam ne ñoom dinañ pass test bi ñooy génna ñi passu test bi nag ñu gën leen fee denca soo léegi ñu dugal top 10 dof yi nga xam ne ñoo gën a wér top 10 ñu jël leen dugal leen si benn néeg jox leen kenn ku nekk opekaay ba ba tëj leen si néeg bi benn 1 hour ak seen opekaay yi after 1 hour boobu gars yi docteur si dellu si dugga si biir sax gis ñee ne seen opekaay yaa ngi dama ñeneen ñi ñu ngi rocci opekaay yi ba nuróowut opekaay sax même des benn dof rek la opekaayam bi normal benn tey suñu dem si dof bi ne ko yow sa morom yi yëpp seen opekaay yaaxu ne ñoo sa bos yaaxu lu xew mu ne ñii ñëpp ay dof la ñii ñëpp wëruñ ñoom dañ téye opekaay bi naan nii man nii laa doon def.
They are my role models because they have skills in public. They have skill in public speaking. I like Mama and X-Mel because they have skills. They are dedicated in their work.
The reason why I like Mama and X-Mel is because they are talented and they are dedicated to their work.
I like them to be my role model because they are young and talented.
The reason why I like Mama and X-Mel is they have the talents and the skills to do it. Thank you.
I like them because they are developing the Gambia culture.
UTV. Talking Germany. Relaxed. Thorough. On time. Everything that makes Germany distinctive. Talking Germany on DWTV. DWTV at the heart of Europe.
Das Wohlgefühl des Tragens ihn überzeugt. Alles gut. Wie viel haben wir heute im Service? Nicht bösartig.
It's just a 15-minute drive from Westerland to Zanzibar. Herbert Zeckler could do it in his sleep. Germany's best-known restaurateur isn't in a rush to get to his second home today. Things got late yesterday. Today the chef is, for once, only starting work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The restaurant's 70 tables are booked out at least 3 times a day. You have to be lucky to get a table. Zeckler's beach hut is in, and it has been for quite some years now. Herbert Zeckler manages to become the king of Zanzibar with his cuisine. He sells at least 3,000 meals a day during the peak season. The famous restaurant guide Go Mio has awarded him a small crown, making Herbert Zeckler Restaurateur of the Year. Zanzibar is cult. He has turned it into a brand under which he sells more than just food and drink these days. He's outraged when he's accused of just being in it for the money. Zeckler does what he does out of conviction.
Guck mal, kauft sich's jetzt. Ja, kriegst du. Kauft sich das. Kauft sich. Also ganz im Ernst.
90% of my energy flows into the restaurant. If I felt a problem was developing here, then I'd drop the other things, because this is the only place I'm vulnerable.
Herbert Zeckler started turning Zanzibar into his empire on Sylt 30 years ago. Then it was nothing but a small takeaway at the nude beach. Not an easy start for the small-town entrepreneur from deepest southern Germany.
When I used swear words that the people from Swabia use almost as terms of endearment, the people here were really insulted. It was small things like that that caused problems for me.
This island is popular with the rich and famous, and guests always consider themselves special.
As a young man from southern Germany, I didn't stand a chance of doing what I wanted with the customers here on Sylt. They told me exactly what they wanted, how they wanted it, and what they'd pay for it.
Da brauchtest du gar nicht viel. Die haben dir genau gesagt, was
It was merciless.
sie wollen und was sie dafür zahlen wollen. Das war gnadenlos.
Today, everyone pays what Herbert Zeckler demands. It's much more difficult to get a table.
Nächste Woche.
Business is doing extremely well. He doesn't want any of his guests here to have to wait to be served.
Wie viel haben wir heute im Service? 15. Und 8 hier vorne.
Herbert Zeckler has managed to see that his tables aren't empty for long. Others want to share in his success. He gets offers for new business ideas almost every day.
Und vor allem auch mit dem, es hat auch ein positives Image. Das kommt dann noch dazu. Vielleicht können wir uns ja mal unterhalten.
Gerne, jederzeit.
Ich suche ja nichts. Es ist nicht, dass ich was suche, aber...
Nein, jederzeit.
Herbert Zeckler is open to hearing people's plugs.
Viel Spielraum für die Gastronomie. Und dann hast du deine Provision.
It's rare for Herbert Zeckler to get a bite before the sun has set.
An einem schlechten Tag warten nur zwei.
On a bad day, there are only 2 or 3 people waiting for me. I'm under constant pressure with appointments. If I have 2 people waiting, they're on my back. They've been waiting a while, and that situation develops its own dynamic. There's nothing you can do about it.
Ist eine Art Eigendynamik, da kannst du nichts gegen machen.
Now the chef is needed in the kitchen. Not even toast is served here without his verdict.
Das ist scheißegal. Alles, was nicht schimmelt, ist auch kaputt. Koch ist mein Beruf. Und gut, dass ich das
I'm a chef by profession. I'm glad I chose that, because without this training, you can't open a restaurant. You need to know what you're doing. It's subjective.
Es gibt Ausnahmen.
There are exceptions, but I think if you're preparing 3,000 dishes a day, you need to know yourself how to do that.
Herbert Zeckler only arrived on the island in 1974. He started working as a young cook in restaurants in Westerland. One day he got the opportunity of a lifetime.
I bought Zanzibar because I thought I'd do it for 4 months and then I'd get into winter sports. I'd work in Switzerland for a few months while running this takeaway on the beach. A great life. That sounded great to me, and that had been my plan. Then I went bankrupt in next to no time.
An accountant on Zult sold him Zanzibar in 1978, but the takeaway on the beach didn't generate enough turnover for Herbert Zeckler. The till was always empty. His accountant was yearning for some cash.
I can still remember the guy was called Lehman. He was a bank manager here on the island, and he knew I worked long hours at night. He called me at 8 o'clock in the morning to talk to me about unpaid bills. He said, "You have to pay 300 marks," and I didn't have that kind of money. That happened almost every day, and that was a huge stress factor for me. It got on top of me.
By winter, Herbert Zeckler was drowning. He had accumulated debts of 220,000 marks.
I was horrified. I was at the end of my tether. The same accountant told me I could work on the butter ships during the winter. They were the ships that went to Heligoland, where you could buy cheap butter. The owner of the butter ships went on holiday, so I did them on my own for 3 or 4 months. That's how I saved myself over the winter.
Luckily, he met Helga, his future wife, who was working on the island.
I wanted to get closer to home in Stuttgart. Actually, I wanted to attend drama school in Stuttgart. But then I met Herbert. I had the choice, crazy or normal. I decided in favor of normal.
They got married 2 years later and had 4 children together. Their lives revolve around Zanzibar. They rarely have time to stroll through the dunes.
We do this very rarely. I have to go without him. We maybe get 10 minutes